In the criminal justice system, there are three groups of people involved in a Supreme Court trial: the petitioners, the respondents, and the justices who hear the case. These are their stories.
Hola, Estados Unidos. Jose Padilla, you're under arrest for conspiracy.
You come with us.
Hello, Mr. Clement.
Hello, Secretary Rumsfeld. Understand you wanted to see me?
Yes, you're going to be representing me in the Supreme Court. And beforehand, I wanted to give you a good briefing on the Jose Padilla background.
Okay. This is the Padilla case, right? The big one.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is the Jose Padilla case.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're probably wanting to know about his background and how this man got his start in life.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in Chicago and was involved in the gang activity there, mostly minor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But later on in his life, he did convert to Islam and moved to Egypt, later to Pakistan, and finally Afghanistan, where he enrolled in an Al-Qaeda terrorist training camp where he was training to detonate a dirty bomb in the United States of America.
Oh, wow. And how do we know all this?
Our intelligence recovered this piece of evidence,
Mhm.
a document with his signature on it, enrolling him in an Al-Qaeda terrorist training camp.
Okay.
And finally, if you'll press that play button on that remote, you'll see footage of the terrorist training camp.
All right, let's take a look.
There's the man himself, very dangerous man.
Mhm.
Small-time crook to big-time terrorist.
Yeah,
There he is, signing this document.
the document.
You can see he's a little slow with his signature, but he's quick to train as a terrorist.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
There he is, learning the basic tools of Al-Qaeda right there.
Mm. Wow.
Highly motivated, lethal, but no discipline.
Yeah. This is one dangerous guy.
Yes, he is. But luckily, we did capture him at the O'Hare Airport in Chicago, Illinois. Now, as soon as we got him, George W. Bush, our president, designated him as an enemy combatant. He's been in military prison ever since. Recently, however, he was granted a lawyer, and he petitioned for his writ of habeas corpus. The petition failed, though, and now he's gone to the High Court, the Supreme Court, with this.
I thought you said he was an American citizen. How's Bush able to designate him an enemy combatant?
And that's Padilla's argument. Regardless of whether the fact the president was able to do this or not, we've taken a look at his attorney's steps she took to get this far, and we found that she improperly filed his habeas corpus petition, and that will be what's going to win this case for us, along with the two pieces of evidence you've seen today.
Alright, well, I'll do my best. Who is his lawyer, anyway?
Miss Donna R. Newman. I'm afraid she's going to give us a lot of trouble.
Alright.
Good luck to you, Paul.
Thanks, Mr. Rumsfeld.
Thank you for defending me.
Mm-hmm.
Are you my client, Jose Padilla?
Sí, señorita. Estoy.
My name is Donna R. Newman, Latino lawyer extraordinaire. I have heard that they have suspended your writ of habeas corpus. Is this true?
Sí.
I will take your court case to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, and I will get you your writ of habeas corpus, because you are an American citizen.
Muchas gracias, señorita.
The Supreme Court will now hear the case of Donald H. Rumsfeld versus Jose Padilla and Donna R. Newman as next friend of Jose Padilla. Court is now in session.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the Court. Unlike the Hamby case, which raised not only a question of the President's authority to detain enemy combatants captured abroad here in the States, and then the other question was whether they would have access to legal counsel here in the States, I see that this case raises only two relevant questions. The first being whether his petition for habeas corpus was filed in the proper court, and the second being whether the President has the authority to detain citizens captured here in the States that have received training in enemy camps in wiring explosives and then come back here to the States under the direction of the enemy to commit hostile and warlike acts. The main point I'm trying to make here, Mr. Chief Justice, is his petition was filed in the improper court because the petition was filed in Manhattan, and at the time, Mr. Padilla was being held in South Carolina.
On that point, may I ask, Mr. Clement, supposing that this petition was filed while he was still in New York, would it be okay?
Yes, I do believe his petition was filed in the wrong court. It was filed in Manhattan, where he was detained for a certain time, and then he was transferred to South Carolina to a naval brig. And the petition should have been filed in South Carolina. It was not, and therefore it was filed in the wrong court.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court. Even in wartime, America has always been a nation governed by the rule of law. Today, the government asks this court to make a broad ruling that would allow the president to pick anyone he chooses to be detained indefinitely simply by labeling them an enemy combatant. We ask this court for a narrow ruling that leaves for another day the grave constitutional question of whether the system would permit the indefinite imprisonment without trial of American citizens on American soil based on the suspicion that they have associated with terrorists. We simply ask this court to hold that at a minimum, Congress would have to clearly and unequivocally authorize such a departure from our nation's traditions. And since Congress has not done so, Mr. Padilla is entitled to be charged with a crime and to have his day in court.
Thank you, Ms. Newman. The case is submitted. The Supreme Court has heard the arguments of Rumsfeld versus Padilla. Rumsfeld argued that the petition for Padilla's writ of habeas corpus was improperly filed. Padilla argued, though, that whether or not it was improperly filed shouldn't matter because he's an American citizen. The court has decided in a 5-4 vote not to make a ruling on this because the petition was filed improperly.